My artwork, ooh, I really like multimedia pieces. So just sculpture, collage, just the chaos of it all. I really also like cartoons from the early 2000s as well, so that was a massive inspiration for it. And I just wanted to create a piece that was just all over the place. It was chaotic and it's really expressive in anger and it's ugly, but it's pretty at the same time. I just wanted to portray chaos as cartoonishly, but realistically as possible.
My mind on my body is a sculptured piece of a female's body, which has been cut up and then sewn back together with 2 articles written across the body about suppressing emotions. My message for my piece, My Mind on My Body, is about the dangers of suppressing emotion and how my experience with Year 12, there was a very big workload that was expected from you. And I found myself distancing myself from my friends and my community, and that sort of danger of keeping your emotions to yourself. Heroes is a lino print piece on a red piece of paper, and it shows the protesting scene while people fight for their right to be heard. I had to draw it on the lino piece, and then I carved it out, and then finally decided what colour paper and what colour ink I would print it on, which finally resulted in the black ink and the red paper.
My piece is called My Room, which is a bit self-explanatory. It's a diorama that in a way is kind of like a time capsule because it preserves personal items and belongings. Doing this piece was kind of an opportunity to work with polymer clay, which at first I was a bit unfamiliar using. It was a bit of a tedious medium because the thing is I've had to make really small and intricate items, so I think that was one of the difficulties.
My artwork is an oil painting of myself, so it's a self-portrait. The main idea of my artwork is to depict kind of myself as I am, so that's why it's called Reflections. My cultural identity is really important to me, so my Sinhalese cultural identity, and I wanted to express that by using clothing choices and jewellery and symbols to showcase how important that is to me. And also I wanted to depict beauty standards in portraiture, kind of depicting myself without a filter or without any specific lighting choices, something that just showcases myself as I am.
I've been experimenting with making a bunch of different crocheted items, and I'd never made a bag before, so I thought what better time to make it than for a design assessment. Going into the project, I knew I wanted to use fruit as the main subject, so I could use a bunch of different colours that I hadn't used before. I used single crochets to make it, which is the worst kind of crochet to use for anything because it takes so long. It's so tedious. My short film is called To Whom It May Concern. It's about friendship and moving away and all the anxiety and excitement that comes with that. I really wanted to focus on having these conflicting emotions about feeling all this love and being so happy, while also having this gnawing feeling of anxiety that's do you really like me? How long is this gonna last? Which I represented through hidden messages throughout the film.
I created the Fabric Waves photos series of 4. I was inspired by the artists Bruno Matteli and Abdel Roham. When I took the photos, I made it look wavy and create movements of windswept waves and sand ripples to make it look like it was dancing.
My animation's called Drifting into Ruin, and I made it with the sole purpose of showing that people ignore most of what is happening in the world. Things falling apart, forest fires, the city pollution. I used an app called Adobe Animate. It was frame-by-frame animation. My inspiration came from Alan Becker because when I was younger I used to watch a lot of his animation videos on YouTube. So then when I started Stage 2 Creative Arts, I wanted to go deep into animation.
My artwork consumed was my final artwork from a visual arts project. I used it to try and convey the negative emotions of guilt and like overwhelming expectations. The hands in the photo are there to make her feel like she can't escape from the emotions, and they're seen pulling her back and surrounding her, making her feel overwhelmed. So Midnight Neon is my final artwork for my creative arts photo media. Because of the way the room looks and the girl looks, I sort of wanted to convey it as like a sort of digital world where the girl in the photo is sort of like a avatar for what she wants to be, how she wants her ideal life to be, how she wants to look in a sort.
I like the scenery of cities, especially at night when there's just a lot of lights and colours. It was one of the big assessments, so I thought to make a big city, like just a big city painting. I tried to go with a cyberpunk theme to it, so it was the first sort of cyberpunk painting I've ever done, but I've always liked lots of bright, like neon colours. I think they look good with darker areas of the city. I think it really lights up a painting.
My artwork's name is Organism. It's inspired by The Last of Us, which is a video game and series adaptation. It's a multimedia sculpture and uses clay, paper mache, pieces of paper, like paper stuffing, tape, and lots of glue. The piece is an interpretation of the infected in the video game and series clickers, and I wanted to bring out my interpretation of its death but also its beauty, so I used really bright colours and I brought out like the crown of its head using yellows and stuff because I wanted to accentuate it's beautiful but it's also mortal, just like us.
My film is heavily based on the feeling of growing up and sort of being nostalgic about your childhood, and I tried to sort of recreate feelings of feeling lonely and like you've lost your childhood and you just have all of this pressure to do well in school and then go to uni, and you just feel like you don't have enough time to really be a kid anymore. One of my inspirations for the cinematography of it was the movie 13, which has a lot of meaning in the tone and the editing of the actual shots, so the colour of it. I think I just wanted to create something that I could really relate to and that others could hopefully relate to as well.
My piece called Her is a clay ceramic sculpture of a head. On the back of the head it has like kind of claw markings, like presenting like it's like kind of trapped in its own head. I wanted to show the internal emotions on the exterior because a lot of the time people take mental health and think it presents in behaviors, but I wanted to show a physical example of depression or anxiety or addiction. So that's like shown through the really sunken in eyes and the malnourished kind of bone structure of the face.
I did a series of paintings for my folio called Why Won't You Help Yourself? In this society and age, self-destruction is a real idolised and romanticised subject. So when I was thinking about my artwork, I started thinking about candles. And candles have always been a symbol for light in the darkness, you know, something shining through. But I wanted to twist that because as much as the candle needs the flame melts the candle. As much as it needs and desires that light in their life, it takes away that candle's soul and it melts the body. And that's what I wanted to show with the paintings because I just found that a beautiful representation of self-destruction.
Stage 2 art was really fun. It was a lot less stressful than I thought it would be.
All of my practical work, I enjoyed doing it and I felt relaxed while doing it, so I found it as a way kind of to escape from my other subjects.
It was a lot of experimenting and there was a lot of chaos and a lot of studying and a lot of trial and error, but that's just how art class go. So very busy but very fun.
I've never taken film before, so
doing it all in 1 year was really good and I had a great time.
Both visual art and creative art. Honestly, doing both was a bit of a workload. It takes up all your free lessons, but I very much enjoyed both of them. I wouldn't change it for anything.
I'd say it was a much more enjoyable experience than other subjects because you could be much more creative with what you wanted to do.
It was good. It was probably one of my best subjects. It was like a very peaceful transition from all the other like boring, hard essay writing subjects.
I had a really nice teacher. He taught me a lot of different art techniques and styles.
My experience studying stage 2 art, I thought it was great. But I do have a tip that I want to throw in there is that you want to start early. You know, before all those exams and all those big assignments start coming in, start early because you can really enjoy doing the research and the artwork if you have the time, but you just got to do that at the beginning. That's my experience with it.
My aspirations as an artist is I want to have fun, just make what I want to make.
I do want to help in animation or just in illustration.
Video game artist, where I design the video game characters and settings.
Doing sort of like 3D stuff with digital as well is something that I really wanted to do.
I really wish to push traditional art boundaries.
Help some people film stuff or anything like that.
Experience more with my photography.
I kind of want to do it as like a hobby or something that I can do on the side.
I actually got an offer for Griffith Film School for next year, so that's my current plan.
Maybe do it as a job if I can.